Hey guys, welcome to Cryptalina channel, and today we'll talk about YieldFlow. It's a platform that automates your Uniswap V3 positions through artificial intelligence and deep machine learning to pretty much get you the best possible return. So let's hop into it. If you should actually invest into this platform, so first thing I want to mention is YieldFlow has multiple different products that you are yield farming with. So if you decide to deposit in this Ethereum to link position like I currently and I deposited into, you are having to put your money into YieldFlow platform. With that being said, YieldFlow does have an audit by SIR. Ticket comes out to 62.95 out of 100, which is score of B. But let's talk about why that seems to be relatively low. There was one major finding in this audit that was mitigated. It wasn't resolved, and that major finding was this centralization risk and range position manager. That basically means that the YieldFlow does have the ability to manually adjust the range of these pools. So now personally I think that is necessary, and I think that is good that they do have this aspect. Because if something goes wrong with the artificial intelligence or their machine learning, they need to be able to adjust this range accordingly and use their expertise to manage this properly. So for them to be able to actually have some control over the artificial intelligence range, that is fine in my opinion. There were 8 minor findings, all 8 of them had been resolved, and there were 7 informational findings with 5 resolved and 2 acknowledged. So the other thing is we can actually trace back the money and go through kind of how these positions have performed in the past, so we can actually see how exactly these are performing and if they're doing good. So let's hop into YieldFlow. So obviously the interface isn't the best, and that's just my personal opinion, but for now it does work, and I assume that they will introduce new interface changes in the future, and they're just trying to get the base product out there. So first things first, you have YieldFlow, which is YieldFlow. Here you have a few different staking options for the YieldFlow token. The no lock option gives you a 8.5 APY, whereas the 3-year lock option gives you a 20.5 APY. But one thing that I want to mention is they are simply paying out the staking rewards based off incentives. It doesn't seem like there is a real yield aspect here, so hopefully later on in the future they will start to do a revenue share with the YieldFlow token or something along those lines. So going to the staking section, you can actually stake Matic Plantom of Sandbox, and this is almost like a staking aggregator. Basically, if you stake into this Matic pool, it's automatically going to deposit into a Matic node basically. So you don't have to go and host a node yourself. Same thing for platform. If you stake into AV, it's automatically going to put it into the protocol. And if you stake into Sand, it's going to automatically put it into the Sand protocol. So basically the goal behind YieldFlow is to become some type of front end for decentralized finance, to make it easy and to make it so you can do all the things you want to do in all the basics in one area. So you don't have to go through a ton of different decent size exchanges. So in my opinion, this is a very good solution for those that are beginners in DeFi, who want to get some experience, want to try things out before investing all of their time into doing due diligence research into other protocol falls and stuff like that. Now that I really want to focus on this liquidity pool V3, which is currently only on the Arbitrum network, but over here they have a few different whitelisted pairs from Uniswap V3 on the Arbitrum network, and basically when you deploy into these pairs, it's deploying into an artificial intelligence managed position for Uniswap v3. So as you can see, I currently have money in this Ethereum to link pool, and it's showcasing a 78 APY. And now one thing that I do like about this, it doesn't auto compound, because when I'm using a newer protocol or when I'm even depositing into a semi-risky pair, I want to make sure that I'm claiming my fees. That way I can start to create a buffer through stable coins. So in the case that I collect, let's just say $500 worth of fees through this YieldFlow position, and I have a 1,500 position, and let's just assume that 1,500 position goes down. Not because of YieldFlow, just because the assets that are baking it like ETH or like for this example start to go down. Well, then I now have that 500 buffer that I can kind of lie back, and that's just my personal strategy. You don't have to follow that strategy, those are just my thoughts when it comes to this. So now they do state that YieldFlow v3 liquidity pool management is based on AI powered bot technology, making it possible to nearly eliminate impermanent loss. So we are going to be taking a look at a few different examples of some of the pools that they have run to see what the impermanent loss ratio actually is. And I do want to mention that so far I have been relatively pleased with the results that I have got from YieldFlow, and I deposited roughly $1,200 into this protocol, and I do want to mention that they did pay me $1,200, so I basically put that payment into the protocol and I'm testing it with their money. So far, because of just link as was Ethereum going down, I've lost $12, which is completely normal, but I only have negative 2 cents of impermanent loss. So literally 2 cents, that's absolutely nothing. So it seems like they have a limited and permanent loss, but you do have to factor in that a 12 loss on my overall $1,200 capital is roughly a 1% loss. So obviously we are not going to be having that much in permanent loss here, especially if they are running wide ranges. Now so far I have got about 16 worth of fees as well, and it has held up to an APR of 83 annually, and I have been deposited into this for nearly 6 days, so I do have a limited amount of data to showcase here, but I will be showcasing more information on YieldFlow. But when we deposit into this Ethereum to link pool, our money is sent to their wallet address and deposited into Uniswap v3 pool. So let's go and take a look at a few of these different Uniswap v3 pools that they have. So now they make it very easy because they have a different wallet address for each different pool. So as you can see, this is the Ethereum to link wallet address, and now we're just going to go ahead and skip this position because it was a $7 position. I'm assuming it was a test or something like that. So let's look at this 8,000 position right here. This one had a range of 242 link to 278 links, so it was relatively broad. And if we go down a little bit further, you can see that they had roughly $17 of in permanent loss, and they had $10 of position income. So in this case, and permanent loss did get the best of them, and permanent loss beat them by about $7. And now once again, I don't know if this was a test pool or not. It's a relatively low deposit at around $8,000. And going further, the next Ethereum to link pool had $72 of position income and $43 worth of impermanent loss, and ultimately meaning that this position and YieldFlow came out a profit compared to the person just holding initial assets, a 30 profit to be exact. So this position is good. This one gets the check mark of approval in my opinion, and that was their first big position with about $22,000. And once again, this could just be test positions, and this one had $147 worth of impermanent loss and had $316 worth of income. So it beats impermanent loss by over 2 times, which is really nice. And this one would also get the seal of approval from me. So now going into the actual large positions, you can see it goes from 22,000 to roughly $130,000. So in my opinion, this is probably exactly where they started running these pools publicly, and this position over here had $1,500 worth of income and only $22 worth of impermanent loss. So in this scenario, they pretty much did eliminate impermanent loss, because $22 of impermanent loss on a $130,000 position is absolutely nothing. And then additionally, you can see that they had $1,500 in income, and this was doing a 165% APY. And of course, looking at the current position that they are running right now, there is about $2,500 worth of income and APY of 96 and impermanent loss of only $22. So once again, this is barely any impermanent loss compared to the overall total, and don't quote me on this, but I think that the first initial public pool was this 130,000 pool. Either that or they just saw a large amount of capital inflow coming. So with these last two positions, then permanent loss is pretty much nothing, so they're holding up to that standard. It just will only be able to tell what will actually happen when there are some big market moves over the next course of the months, whether Ethereum shoots up or Link shoots up or whatever it may be. We'll just have to wait and see how that performs. So let's talk about where YieldFlow token or YieldFlow comes into play. The more YieldFlow tokens you stake, the lower your performance fee and management fee is going to be. So whereas since I'm not staking any YieldFlow tokens, I have only a 15 performance fee on this Ethereum to Link. So if I make $100, I have to give them $15 basically. Additionally, there is a 1% management fee, and I'm assuming this is charged and leap, because in most projects it's charged annually. But basically, if let's just say my position is worth $1,000, after a year I'm going to be paying them 1%, which would be $10 regardless of if I make a profit or not. But honestly, these fees don't seem too bad, especially if you do plan on staking, let's just say 10,000 YieldFlow or something like that if you do have a larger position, because ultimately a 1% management fee is going to get made back in terms of the actual yield, and the 50% performance fee is not too bad, assuming that this can actually live up to the standards of completely eliminating and permanent loss, or I should say nearly a limited impermanent loss. Now they also have a liquidity pool section where you can simply just participate in liquidity mining, and as you can see, the yields are not nearly as high. They're about 10 to 25%. It's not too good whatsoever, and that's why I recommend the liquidity pool V3, because these are Uniswap V3 concentrated liquidity pools that are managed by Artis Official Intelligence, and they do have a lending section where you could pretty much lend directly to OB. If you want, you can lend your USDT for about a 4% APY, and this pretty much just takes your USDT and deposits it on up. Same thing if you were to go for S and X. And the last thing I'm going to mention is they do have an affiliate program, and if you guys do want to use my affiliate link, it will be down below in the description. But of course, you are free to just simply go to the website YieldFlow.com and invest if you want to not using my link. There is not really any benefits to you for using my link, but of course you are free to just simply go to their website YieldFlow.com and invest if you want to not using my link. There's not really any benefits to you for using my link, but I do get 25 of your performance fee and 75 of your management fee. It doesn't come at any additional cost to you, but of course, if you do deploy some capital into YieldFlow and you have some friends that also want to deploy some capital, you can make some money off your friends. And I do think that YieldFlow is definitely an interesting product. Obviously, there is a lot of work to be done, and there are more pairs to add in liquidity pool v3. There is more data to showcase, like different analytics showcasing how the pairs have performed over time. I would also like to see some information about how the AE is actually managing these pools and how it's determined these ranges and stuff like that. With that, I'm pretty satisfied with the results that I've got so far, and assuming it keeps up. And this, I'm probably going to be making another deposit in this Ethereum to link pool by the end of the next month or this month. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to put your likes and comments below. See you soon. Bye.